Chris Sewall here, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. Welcome, everyone. Recent conversation here with Junk Wax hero Mike, and Mike is sort of dipping his toe in the water of dealing, and he recently bought a collection and resold it, and he kept details on all the numbers of the collection, and we discuss it here. And he sold it through a platform I've never used before, so I actually learned quite a bit. If you want to see his video on it before you watch this, I've included a link to it in the description below. It has all the details, and we go over it in detail here, and then of course a baseball trivia at the end. Hope you all enjoy. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, good, Chris. How are you?
Great. How was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. It's good to have the whole family in the house, but it's just four of us. But yeah, we had a great Thanksgiving. A lot of food. Just relaxed. Didn't really do much, but it was nice. How about you?
Same. About 10 people or so. Yeah, for Thanksgiving. At my mom's house. Went well. I'm a big fan of Thanksgiving, so we always have good ones.
Yeah. Before the pandemic, we would go to our in-laws, and it was a big get-together. But then, 2020 and 2021, we didn't do that anymore. And then my in-laws decided they didn't want to hold it anymore, and then nobody stepped up and did it. So we've just kind of all done our own thing for the last couple of years.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on Friday I binge watched some of your videos. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Congrats on the Carl Yastrzemski. That's pretty cool. I'm sorry,
Thank
the Ted
you.
Williams. The Ted
Williams. Yeah, the Ted 48 Ted.
Yeah, congrats on the Ted
49,
Williams.
whatever we're calling it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a cool card, huh?
Yeah, I was really excited about that. I had thought I was going to end up paying $800 at a minimum to $1,000 for a decent one, and then I found that one with it had some paper loss on the back, but the front looked beautiful, and I paid $518, maybe all in. It was about $550.
Yeah, no, that seemed like a good deal from what I could see. And if you looked at the front real close, what sort of grade would you think the card is just from the front?
Maybe a 4.
Yeah.
If I had prepped a little better, I would have had it ready. But yeah, I mean it's maybe 3.
3-4 level front, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the problem's all in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd rather have paper loss on the back than it be trimmed.
Yeah. The front is beautiful. The colors, it just my favorite Ted card.
The 48 Leaf set is just a beautiful set in general. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Now I need to get the Johnny Pesky.
Oh, is that next on the list?
Well, I mean, I'd love to have a Jackie Robinson or some of the other big ones, but I'll stick within my budget.
Yeah.
Johnny Pesky, there are 5 that I was able to find on eBay. None of them that I would buy. They're all way off center, which of course is a big problem for that set. But yeah.
And your Yaz rookie is currently a what? Because I remember you saying you were upgrading it little by little, which is a good way to go.
Yeah, it's a 5.
It's a 5. And then the other video, well, I saw a few of them, but the other one we wanted to talk about here big time is the your purchase on the 1980s rookie cards. Yeah. I'll give a quick. If anyone hasn't seen that, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. You should actually watch it before we discuss, because. So I'll give a quick summary and correct me if I get any details wrong. But you bought a collection of maybe 60-ish 1980s baseball cards, mostly 1980s, all rookie cards, all stars, but they were all sort of and they're all graded, all PSA.
All PSA.
And it was mainly sort of mid-grade. You'd have a Kirby Puckett PSA 5 or a Harold Baines PSA 6, or I don't know what they were exactly, but that sort of thing. Yep. So not big money cards.
Correct.
A lot of $10-ish cards.
Exactly.
Sort of.
I think the highest grade was a 7. There might have been 1 8.
Okay. Do you remember the most valuable card in it? Was it the Henderson?
Yep, the Ricky Henderson PSA 6 rookie. I think. I sold it for $69.
Okay.
I'd comped it in the mid 60s, and so I put a $69 tag on it, and somebody bought it for $69.
Okay. And so this is sort of your first collection that you're buying and I don't know if it's your first, but kind of in a way, right? No, that you're buying, tracking, reselling with the goal of making a profit.
Yes. I've bought 2 other collections. The first one was 2 years ago, and I mostly kept the cards in it. And like the Griffey rookie autograph right here was one that I really wanted. Kept a lot of cards. I did sell enough to break even on it, which was my goal on that one. This is the one in my recap video, I forgot one minor detail, which is that I had a Ken Griffey Jr. upper deck rookie in a PSA 5, and this collection came with a PSA 7, and I traded them out and sold the 5 and kept the 7 for myself.
Okay.
And so that's maybe a $10 benefit to me that I mean, it's probably not even $10, the difference between those two grades.
Okay.
But I didn't consider in that profit and loss.
Gotcha. Okay, but I really like the video because that's it's a great resource for people who are like getting started as dealers. So a couple of questions if I can drill you on.
Of course.
So
yeah, tear me apart.
No, not to tear you apart, but so you estimated the value up front, which was really nice. You talked to him up front and you came to an agreement on market value and then what you could pay, which I thought all made sense. And your estimation was like somewhere in the 700s as market value.
$716, and I sent him the comps that I came up with all 60 cards so he could go and look and make sure that they all made sense to him.
Yeah.
So he sent me the 60 cards, he sent me photos of them, and I went and comped them all on eBay. So I took the average of the last like 5 or 6 sales. Some of them were $7 and some of them were, like I said, 64 or something like that for the Ricky Henderson.
Uh-huh.
And so then I said, based on the fact that these are low demand, mid-grade junk wax,
that's right there in
and
the title,
old slabs, right? And old slabs. The most I could offer is $450, and I just went straight to the max. He is a friend of the family, even though I had never met him before.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to offer him the most I could offer instead of trying to lowball him and say I could do $300 and that's the most. And he agreed to it. Yeah, that's where that was.
So and that's roughly 60%. I didn't actually compute it. Roughly
64% of what I comped.
64%. Okay. And then you went and sold it. And actually, I really want to get into that because I've never used that platform before. But you sold it for quite a bit more than your estimate, right?
Yeah, so I think my revenue was $907, if I remember correctly. Oh, I have it right here. $907 from the sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And
that's before all fees and all that.
Before all fees, yeah. So I took the comps and then I'd taken the average comp, right, from that last few month time period.
Yeah. And
I bumped the comps up a little bit, as any dealer would, I assume. And then I allowed offers, and I kept telling people, you can make offers. I'm accepting pretty much any offer, but a lot of people were just buying them at the price that I had set because they wanted to buy them. And so I made $907 before fees, and then I paid $120 in fees to whatnot.
So is that, and so you credit the discrepancy between your estimate and the sales by people paying your sort of slightly above market asking price, which you did not expect?
Yeah, but I got some very, very mild criticism about people paying over comps. But if I was charging $9, the comps averaged $7.
Yeah, and
that there was a $9 sale in that average of $7. So it's not like I was.
No, you're not gouging here.
Right. There's no. So if the average comp was $16, I was charging. I had an asking price of $19.
Okay.
That was generally my method.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to ask one other question. When you sent him the comps, your estimate, did he agree up front, or did he have any discrepancies? Did he say any disagreements?
He had no disagreements.
Okay. Yeah. So I imagine your comps were pretty accurate.
Yep.
Okay, so you sold them on Whatnot, which I have never used. Have you used it before?
I had used it 3 or 4 times over the summer when I was paring down my collection. Yep.
Okay, and I mean I gotta admit I was pretty impressed with how much you sold in how much time, and Neither. I'm not sponsored by Whatnot. I assume you're not either.
I'm not.
So, but yeah, I want to hear a little bit about Whatnot because I've been approached a number of times to sell on there. I've never really considered it, but you sold everything in under an hour, 60 cards in under an hour. I mean, how does that even work? Like, explain it like I'm 10.
So first of all, there is a huge benefit to bringing your own audience over to Whatnot. It's difficult. I've watched a lot of people try to start selling on Whatnot without having a platform already, and they'll get 4 or 5 people in their sale, and trying to sell 1980s slabs to 4 or 5 people isn't going to work.
Yeah.
So I had 50 plus people in my sale at any given time, and they knew ahead of time because I did a pre-video where I said, I have these cards. Here are the cards and what they are, and I will be selling them on Whatnot. And I chose to do Buy It Now, which was my first time trying that, because I have done 99-cent auction starts every other time because I was just trying to get rid of cards and didn't really care about how much they sold for necessarily. This time, another thing I did was I had decided to give away my second Yaz rookie, so the one I had upgraded from this one, and I was going to give it away on my channel. And during a live stream, I was like, well, let's just give away a Yaz rookie. And then I said, maybe I should just give it away during my auction, during my sale, to get some more eyeballs on this sale. And so during that pre-video, I said, and if you're in the sale and you're following me on Whatnot, you'll be eligible for this Carl Yastrzemski rookie. Okay. So that helped too.
And how important do you think that was as like a marketing tool?
I think it maybe 10 or 20% improvement for the number of people in the sale. Because I've gotten, without a giveaway, I've gotten 30 to 40 people, no problem. This one I had 50 to 55. So it was maybe 20 to 30% improvement. But with Whatnot, you can also choose to have a buyer appreciation giveaway, which is only applied. You can only have people entered who have bought from you. And I chose not to do that because I wanted to. So if you wanted to be in there and not buy from me, you'd still be eligible.
Okay. But so you had, like a viewer who comes there, will they see like all the cards laid out in some sort of grid fashion? I don't know. And then the prices and what you're asking, or do you do one at a time kind of thing? So
I put all the cards in my inventory probably 5 days ahead of time. And so I encouraged people, go in, you can view my inventory. There's a little button in the show that they can go in and see ahead of time and during the show. And they can make offers. They can buy ahead of time. I think I sold 5 cards before the show even started. Okay. Like that, Ricky Henderson was gone 4 or 5 days before the show started.
Okay.
And then people were buying cards, and then people were making offers. The one thing that I really struggled with during the show was that people were making offers to me, and I didn't know.
You didn't know they were coming in?
There's so much happening on the screen.
Yeah.
If you have 50, 55 people in there, that you'll get an alert, but if there's another alert that comes in immediately, the first alert is gone.
Oh, I see.
So you might see, I'd be holding up a card saying, I've got this Don Mattingly rookie priced at $14, and it would say card sold, and I would think it would be the Don Mattingly, and I would say, great, Don Mattingly sold, and somebody would comment, no, that wasn't the Mattingly that sold, it was a Griffey, okay. 20 cards up down the line.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody would say, I just made an offer to you on so-and-so cards. Then I need to go in. And so that was pretty hectic.
So, but is that a flaw of the system, or is that like you're just not familiar with it? Or both?
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I sent an email to them last week afterwards just saying, hey, I did my first Buy It Now sale. Here was my experience. I didn't hear anything back.
Okay. But so, because I mean, 50 people, it's a lot, but I would imagine there's sellers with 10 times that or whatever. It's got to be even that much more chaotic, no?
I would think so. Yeah. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Maybe they probably have multiple, like they have a laptop open and their phone, and maybe that makes it a lot easier. Or they have staff. I don't have a staff. I probably could have asked my wife or one of my kids
You don't have a staff yet.
I will never have a staff.
And never say never. You don't know where things will go.
Yeah. So I'm sure, like, you're familiar with Pac-Man.
Yeah, yeah.
I watched one of his videos recently where he had Cade Cunningham, and he clearly has a staff there. And I don't know how many people he's got working for him, but that's how these guys have got to do it.
But so you got 60 cards, and they can't all sell. Did you go through them one by one, and they all sold?
Or they all sold.
Every single one. Did you drop the price on any because it wasn't no biters?
Yeah, I took offers. I probably dropped the price. I didn't. Well, sorry. Good question. Two answers. Two parts to this answer. Yeah. One is that you had probably 20 of the cards where I took offers on and accepted the offers at 20% below what I was asking for.
Yeah.
And then there were maybe 3 cards that didn't sell at all, and so I just sold at auction. And those cards went almost for what I was asking for anyway at auction. So once they weren't selling, let's start these at a 99-cent auction because I wanted to get rid of them.
I just can't believe all 60 cards sold. Like, I would have thought there were just a ton of them that just nobody had any interest in. Or maybe you just had the right buyers in your...
Yeah, a lot of people commented that, and they're absolutely right. If I had chosen any other platform, or if it were somebody who didn't have a subscriber base, they wouldn't have sold in months, let alone minutes.
Okay.
But if you bring over a subscriber base, and this is the whole point of
whatnot,
that doing the pre-video and advertise, I put it up on my Instagram. I think I may have shared it in my YouTube feed beforehand. And, a lot of people said, there's no way these all would have sold without your people trusting you and wanting to buy from you.
Okay. If you were just some random guy who just showed up there on a random day without saying anything, none of them would have sold. Or very few. Interesting. No, I mean, you have to be really happy with those results. Those aren't cards that are easy to move. I mean, they're not dead cards, but that's not stuff that flies out of your eBay store, for example.
Right. So this is why when I first started thinking about becoming a dealer, a very part-time, very, very part-time dealer, I started thinking about all the places I could sell cards. And, you've got COMC where I sell a teeny little bit, eBay where I sell also a teeny little bit. But if you want to sell cards fast and you have an audience built in, Whatnot is a great place to be.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, I know people who will say, should I start selling on Whatnot? I say, if you don't have an audience, then you've got to build it up show over show over show on there.
Yeah.
And I would think it would be tough.
Okay. And so how does shipping work? So you put up a card and you sell a card, and then what happens? They is the money come to you? How does the money arrive to you? How do you ship the card? How do you know where to ship it?
Yeah. So it's very, very simple, which is another thing that I like. It's similar to eBay in some ways and not in others. So the money from the shipping doesn't come to you at all.
Okay.
It goes directly to Whatnot, and they buy the label for you. And so you can't add in handling.
Okay.
So with eBay, you can say, okay, I'm going to charge $5.15 or whatever.
Yeah.
And that'll cover my bubble mailer and things like that. So that's why I took, I think I did $10 of supplies out of my costs.
Yeah.
But the shipping is also cheap. So I want to say it averages like $3.60 something cents for the first card. And then each card after that's like 39 cents.
Okay.
So for buyers, I think it benefits them
to buy multiple. Yeah.
Yeah. I had one person buy 7 cards. I had another, Mark from Kentucky, who's a YouTuber, bought 5 from me, and he just did a reveal today where he showed the 5 cards he bought from me. And he was very happy with the process. I mean, he bought 5 cards for $55, all Hall of Fame rookies. And I think he paid $5.50 or $6 in shipping.
Oh, that's great.
For 5 slabs. And now he's going to turn around and bring them to a card show and try to sell them at a profit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Nice. That's efficient. That's efficient way to sell those 60 cards. I mean, from that standpoint, I was very impressed, or I guess. But yeah, so I mean, it sounds like you were happy with those results too.
I was very happy. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I made, and obviously, I had some costs that I took out of it, but then I also factored in the revenue I made from the pre-video.
Yeah.
And then I'll also have revenue from the post video I made talking about the sale. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
two questions about your breakdown. So well, first, did you factor in the Carl Yastrzemski?
That's a great question, and a bunch of people asked about this, and I'm open to feedback on this. But because I was already going to give it away, I decided not to factor it in.
Okay. What it's like? What is it worth? $100 or I don't know.
150, 100. It's maybe 175.
Okay.
But because I was already going to give it away.
Yeah.
I decided not to, and I think it helped.
And then including the revenue from your YouTube video seems like a reach. Because because wouldn't you be putting out a video anyway? Like if you didn't do that, you would put out a different video which would have similar revenue, or unless that one had tremendous viewership.
Fair point. So if we were to look at incremental revenue, it might have been $20 instead of $40, because my average video doesn't make $40.
Oh, okay.
Of
so
revenue.
It was a well above average performing video.
Not well above, but it was above average.
Yeah. Okay. Well. I'll let that one slide then.
Okay, thanks.
No, man, that's impressive. Like I'm considering looking into it. It doesn't strike me as my thing. Like, this like fast paced. Like
It is very chaotic.
Would you say it's not your thing, but it works, or is it your thing?
Well, a lot of my subscribers, not a lot, but dozens of my subscribers go in just to talk to me during the live stream.
Yeah,
and so their comments come up, and I'm answering questions we're talking about baseball and stuff like that, and it's fun. I enjoy it a lot.
So you would not do it again, you said in your video, if it was an 80s collection?
I probably wouldn't. No, I would love to focus on vintage.
Okay. Do you think it would work if it was? Can you only do graded on there, or can you do raw stuff?
No, you can do raw.
Okay. Do you think that
I did mostly raw last year?
Oh.
Or earlier this year.
Do you think that's harder? I mean, I guess you have to factor in.
It is harder. It takes longer. If you want to do it well and you want to be a trusted seller, I was taking them out of the sleeve and then shining a light on all of them and flipping it around so you could see what you were getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And some people were commenting, this is way too much work to put into selling a raw card. I wanted to sell it, and I didn't want somebody to receive it in the mail and go, wait, I didn't know about this
crease or whatever.
Yeah, whatever might be wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm impressed. 60 tough to sell cards moved in 50 minutes for solid price. That's a great result.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun too, and so that.
Oh yeah, that was my next question. Like, did you actually enjoy it, or did it feel like work?
It didn't feel like work. The only part that feels like work is the shipping and packaging. That part feels like work. Thankfully, I have help from my family, but it's the rest of it. I enjoy going through the collection, entering it into the inventory, and the sale itself, while chaotic, is fun because it's an opportunity for me to connect with my subscribers live.
Yeah. Any additional words about it?
I don't think so. No, I'd love for another collection to come up. So if anybody reaches out to you and says they're in Maine or New Hampshire,
you're my Maine or New Hampshire. I bought a collection in Boston not too long ago, and the guy I drove up there, and the guy, when I met him, he was like, "Oh, I thought when I first contacted you, I thought you were just going to send me to Mike," and I was like, "Oh, well." And I was like, why do you think he's... Oh, because I heard you guys talking about how you would send him collections if it was up in that area. And I was like, oh, well, I guess in theory I could have, but it was worth the drive. So
seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you buy it?
Yeah, it was a big collection. It was probably probably
out of my price range.
It was in the thousands, but no, it was probably within your price range. But yeah, I don't know if it's a collection. It was a car full of cards. I don't know if that's something you want to handle.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I was looking at one on Facebook Marketplace today in Chelsea, Massachusetts.
Okay.
It was priced at, I think, $250, but maybe $350, and it was a lot of junk wax singles. It was all in one binder.
Yeah.
And I'm scrolling. There were 10 photos because that's the max you can put in. And the photos are in really, really poor, but they were taken very poorly of the binder sheets.
Okay.
But one of them is a Nolan Ryan page, and it's like 1991 Topps Nolan Ryan, 4 copies of that, and 4 copies of the 1990 Topps Nolan Ryan. But then in the top left is a Nolan Ryan rookie card.
Oh, no.
And then in the top middle is the 1971 Nolan Ryan card. And I'm like, I sent it to my friend. I said, this can't be real, right? And he said, why would they put a really bad picture in of Nolan Ryan rookie? And it's in the right spot. It's got in chronologically. But I was like, if you were trying to scam people out of, to convince them to come and look at your cards and buy them, and you wanted to, but it's only $250. I don't know.
Wait, it was
trying to talk myself into driving to Chelsea, Mass.
It was the first photo. It was the
photo 5 or 6.
Just so in the initial photos there was nothing of note, and then in picture 5 there was a Nolan Ryan rookie in the upper left and a 71 Topps, and then and the pictures were like almost intentionally taken poorly. Like, you mean when you say taken poorly, like bad lighting, or they were blurry, or what?
Yeah, let's see if I can bring it up here.
Yeah.
It was photo 6.
This is very common, and there's.
Can you see that's just a bunch of boxes there, right, with a binder?
Okay.
Okay. So then here are a bunch of junk wax Michael Jordan cards.
Okay.
I'm just gonna slide more Jordan. And here it is, slide 6. Nolan Ryan. Sorry about the glare.
Oh, I can't.
But up in the top left.
Well, the 71 looks like the 96 reprint because it doesn't have the little square in it. And like
doesn't have what? Oh, you're
upper
right.
Left of it. Yeah. So the 71's no good. The 68 I can't see, but the 68 might have that too.
Oh, the 68 is shiny. See, now that we talk it through.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking, because that glare is on the photo itself.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was thinking that right there was part of the glare.
It's probably
but when I zoom in, I can tell that it's actually a shiny Nolan Ryan.
It's probably the 96 chrome finest reprint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very common tactic. Although they might not have intentionally done that, but
there's no mention of it. It's $350, not $250.
Okay.
Yeah, no mention of it, and it actually says cards are from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Okay.
But I was looking at it like, man, could that be?
There are times when a listing like that will clearly be by somebody who has no idea what they're doing, and you'll just see in like the 8th picture a random card that they just happen to be included that's really valuable, but most of the time that's not what's going on.
So what do you do in that case? You go and you buy it at their asking price?
No, I would ask them for additional photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
if it was how far is that from you? Is that like
it's a 2.5 hour drive, maybe.
That's definitely additional photos.
Yeah.
I
was trying to convince my friend Kevin, who lives an hour closer, to go and buy. He's also a dealer
on your behalf.
No, for himself.
Oh, okay.
He's a bigger dealer than I am. He sets up at card shows.
Okay.
Many weekends.
Yeah. There are those a deal where you'll find like a hidden gem like that, but they're so rare. And if you go on every chase looking at that, you'll end up, it's a big loss there's way too many losses to cover the very few wins. So definitely need to filter those out when at all possible. But you want your baseball trivia?
Let's hear it.
I was going to do a Hall of Fame one, but I mentioned this beforehand. I was going to do a Hall of Fame one, but it was taking too long to prep properly. So I came up with this one instead. You're going to have to come up with 12 answers, okay?
Yep.
We're going to do the 70s, 80s, 90s, and active players, okay?
Okay.
And then, so 4 decades or whatever, and then 3 categories: hits, home runs, and wins. So you need one for each, like 70s hits, 70s home runs, 70s wins, 80s blah, blah, blah. And all you have to do is pick one name for each of the 12 categories and they have to be in the top 5 for you to get it right. Of the like, so the most hits in the 1980s, you have the one name you give me has to be in the top 5 most hits of the 1980s for you to get it. And we got to see how many you get out of 12. So you understand everything?
I do. And I know for the 80s, it's Jack Morris for wins.
Okay. Put that one down nice and early. You don't have to get the number 1. You just have to give me a name who lands in the top 5.
Okay.
Do you want to go in order, or you want to just go at random?
So let's start with active wins. I'm going to say Scherzer.
So I'm not going to tell you anything until the end if you get it right.
It's got to be either Scherzer or Verlander. Active home runs, I'm going to say Cruz.
Did Cruz just retire?
Did he?
I think because he's not on these lists, but he should be definitely for home runs. So I'm gonna let you redo that one.
Maybe he did. Maybe. Yeah. Oh yeah. He retired right after the season ended.
Okay.
So I guess technically he's not active anymore.
Yeah, he's not on here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll
so I guess home runs for the 90s. Let's go with Sammy Sosa for home runs.
Mm-hmm.
For wins. I gave you this trivia for wins, and it was. I'm going to go with Clemens. Hits in the 90s. Gwynn. I'm also going to say Gwynn for the 80s, even though he missed 3 of the years.
Okay.
Home runs for the 80s. I don't know, maybe. So I just need to be in the top 5. Let's say Schmidt.
In the top 5. Schmidt. Okay.
Wins in the 70s. I'm going to go with Nolan Ryan. Didn't really get started really started until later. Let's say for wins, I'm going to go with Carlton.
You need the 70s hits and home runs and the active hits and home runs.
Yeah, 70s hits. I'm thinking about late 60s rookies.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Or mid 60s. See, my knowledge of 60s is much weaker. For hits, active, I'm just going to say Trout. Okay. Same with home runs.
All right.
Hits in the 70s. Those guys lasted a lot longer back then, too. So,
yeah.
How about home runs, McCovey? No, home runs, 70s. Let's go with Schmidt.
Schmidt.
He was a rookie in 73. I don't know how good Schmidt was right away. All right, give me a hint on hits. Oh, Pete Rose.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because I wasn't thinking back. Was his rookie 63?
Yeah. Okay, final answers?
I guess so.
Hits 70s, Pete Rose, number 1 answer on the board. Got it.
Okay.
Home runs in the 70s, Mike Schmidt, not in the top 5.
Was McCovey?
McCovey, no. Number 1, Willie Stargell. Kind of surprising on that.
Okay.
Wins in the 70s, Steve Carlton is number 3. Hits in the 80s, Tony Gwynn.
Was Seaver up there?
Seaver was number 5.
Palmer
1.
Okay. Those were the 3 guys I had in mind.
Yeah, they were 1, 3, and 5. Gaylord Perry, number 2.
Okay.
Hits in the 80s, Gwen did not make the top 5. Number 1, Robin Yount.
Oh, interesting. Molitor?
No, actually, the hits in the 80s was a tough one. Yount, Eddie Murray, number 2. Number 3, Willie Wilson.
Wow.
Wade Boggs.
I was thinking Eddie Murray for home runs in the 80s.
Murray would have been an acceptable answer for home runs, but you picked Mike Schmidt, who was the number 1 answer.
Okay.
Wins in the 80s, Jack Morris, the number 1 answer. Not only the number 1 answer, he's the number 1 answer by 23 wins.
Yeah, that's my guy.
That's pretty dominant.
Yeah.
1990s hits, Tony Gwynn is on there. He lands at number 4. 1990s home runs, Sammy Sosa.
Who was the number 1?
Oh, I'm going to ask you that at the end because it's impossible.
Okay. Okay.
Number 1, home runs in the 90s, Sammy Sosa was number 5.
Okay. Yeah, McGuire.
McGuire was 1. Wins in the 90s, Roger Clemens was number 3. Greg Maddux, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Hits in the active, Mike Trout is not in the top 5. The top 5 is actually really tough. Freddie Freeman, Jose Altuve, Paul Goldschmidt, Manny Machado, and DJ LeMahieu.
Boy, yeah. Trout hasn't played a full season since what, 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Home runs active. Trout's number 2, so he lands. Number 1 is Giancarlo Stanton.
Okay.
And wins active. Scherzer is number 2, and you're right, Verlander number 1. So you got 9 out of 12, and you got 4 of the top answers, for whatever that's worth. All right, 1990s most hits. First
and it's not a Hall of Famer.
No, first baseman, National League, not a Hall of Famer. Rookie card 1988, if that helps. And I would have never guessed this.
I feel like we've discussed this too.
Have we? Really? I don't.
88.
I feel like
88 Donruss, Fleer.
88 Donruss, 88 Fleer, tops traded.
Greg Jeffries.
No. Score traded. No, not Greg Jeffries. Better than Greg Jeffries, but.
Who is it?
Mark Grace.
Another guy that. Yeah. See. Okay.
Would you have guessed Mark Grace as the most hits in the 1990s?
Well, Mark Grace was underrated.
Okay.
He was a card bust.
Yeah.
But he had a really nice career.
Yeah. You've mentioned that. You've mentioned that before. Yeah, you're right. Card bust, but nice career. Greg Jeffries is like that too.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's fun. He was a good hitter.
Yeah. 300 hitter. All right, man. Peace out till next time.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
All right, man. See you next time.
All right.
Later.